Hi, my name's Alex. I work at Braintrust. Let's do some evals. So I was using Unreal Engine the other day, and something I realized is there's no assistance in here whatsoever. So I thought, why don't I write my own? And so here's my excellent assistant, and I can put in something like, make the light orange. And you can see now in here, light is orange. And then it also produces this nice screenshot for me. So that's all it does, but Rome wasn't built in a day. What is going on in here? So the basic idea is I have some tools set up here, and this is not an Unreal tutorial, so I'm not going to go over them in detail, but there are two. There is the set light color tool, and there is the capture screenshot tool. And those tools are being passed along with a system prompt and the input that I just showed you to agent I have defined with the OpenAI agents library. And then I have this all instrumented with Braintrust. So I have this logger, and I'm passing a trace processor to the OpenAI agents library. So let's go to the UI and we can take a look at how that looks. So I'm here in logs, and I can go to my latest log, and you can see the trace here. You can see both of my tools are being called, so set light color and capture screenshot. And then I'm just logging one more span outside of the agent flow so I can get my picture out so I can see it in my logs. So this is pretty cool. This is giving me a lot of visibility into what's happening, but this isn't really giving me anything to kind of iterate on my prompt. I could iterate on pieces of it, but what if I just want to run this whole thing from start to end, and I want to do it in a repeated way? I want to do an experiment or an eval or something. So there's a way to do that. Actually, there's a couple ways to do that. And so let's go through those. The first and easiest way is just to define an eval in code. And so this is how you do it. You import eval from Braintrust, and then this is just the name of my project. It has data, which is normally the data set, but here I'm just defining it inline, and it's just one input. Make the light green. Here's the task, and the task is calling the same exact function that my little CLI was calling, and it's calling it with the input, which is going to come from the data. And this is the system prompt. And the system prompt for this first example is just going to be the default one. But later on, in a different way, we're going to configure it with this parameters object that I'll talk about in a little bit. But enough talking. How do we run this? So let me exit out of here, and we can do npx braintrust eval source agent.eval.js, which is the file we were just in. And so when I run this, it's going to run this whole eval for me locally. So it has access to everything on my computer. And then it's going to upload it to an experiment in Braintrust so I can see it there. And let me just load it in here. There was only one item in my data set, so there's only one row. If you had more items, you would have more rows. And so you can see it here. And we have this beautiful green thing. I just hesitated there because this used to be purple in the last time I tried this video. Let's try that. So I can run it again, and it's going to give me a new experiment. And if I click into that, oh, it's done already. So here should be purple. All right, so that worked. So this is a good flow for me because I'm an engineer and I know how to do this stuff and I know how to write code. And I can add more rows here. I can add different test cases. I could add scores, and I can do this all on my computer, which I control, and I have everything running already, and I have Unreal Engine set up. But sometimes outside of personal projects, I want to run evals with other people. I want to write code that other people play with. And for something like this, to collaborate with someone, especially someone who's maybe not an engineer and more of like a product person, this is like a really big lift, right? Installing Unreal is annoying. You have to install Unreal plugins for this because I'm using some plugin features to get this to work. Then I have to get a dev environment set up, and there's just a whole lot of things that can go wrong. It's going to be like over an hour before you actually get to run your first piece of code, and so there's got to be like a faster way of doing that. And surprise, there is. So if I want to share this eval with someone, or if I just want to run it from somewhere else, like a different computer in my house for in this example, or in the office or something like that, I can do something which is a remote eval. And so let me just find that command. It's the same as the one before, but what we're doing here is npx braintrust eval source agent eval JS, which is the same, and then dev host, and then we're just going to run this on localhost. And then this starts up a server that the UI can then connect to. And I'm going to go show you what that looks like in the UI. So let's go here, and we're going to go to Playgrounds, and we're going to make a new playground, and we'll just call this one Unreal. And let's go in here, and we don't need this prompt because we don't. We're not building a prompt from scratch. We're just using a parameterized eval. And so in here, it automatically picks up the server that we're running on this port, and we can open it up. And so this isn't the standard prompt interface, but you have a lot of what you need. So if we go back to here, you can see we had the input here. This isn't going to get pulled in. We're going to pull in our own data set. And then we have the parameters, which are the system prompt, which are the instructions. And so if I go back here, you can see it pre-populates it like this. And then if I wanted to, I could change it around. I am not going to do that right now, but I will get a data set. I'm just calling this one lights, and it's going to be make the light orange. And so I'm just doing one. And so I can run this, and then I can click into this one, and we'll see it run. So you can see the calls as they're kind of coming in. And then you can see the orange light attachment here. So that all works. And let me get my other computer, and I will show you how this works from somewhere that is not running the server. So please join me from here on my couch. All right, new computer, same project. Let's do this. So here, the first thing we need to do is we need to go into configuration, and under remote evals, you'll see I've added the IP of my desktop computer that's running on my local network. And here's the port that the server's running on. And so now I can go to Playgrounds, and I can go to a playground, and I can delete this, same as before. And here I will be able to add my desktop computer that's running the server. And so here, same thing as before, I can add my data set, and maybe I can make a change, which is right in all caps. And I can just run this. And we can go in here, and we can see the playground running from my computer that's in a different part of my house. So let's see if we got a screenshot. We did. It's orange. And let's see if our system prompt worked. It did. It's all caps. So yeah, hopefully that was a good overview of remote evals for you. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video.